Actually, honestly, the business we started, as I mentioned, in 2021. I had always wanted to start a business, but sometimes you don't know exactly what that business is.
Outside of your daughter, what was your why?
The mental health stats were alarming to me.
Welcome to Tell the Truth, Ticia, where honesty reigns supreme and authenticity is our currency. Join me as we dive into the depths of truth, unraveling stories, and uncovering perspectives with my hot guests, hot topics, dope conversation, and more. Make sure you tune in. Welcome to another episode of Tell the Truth, Ticia. I am your host, Letitia Pittman. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And listen, I appreciate you guys so much for just tuning in, leaving the comments, subscribing, asking questions, and looking for more. Do me a favor, before we get into any type of introduction, I need you to look at the bottom of your screen or your mobile phone and hit that subscribe button, and then tell your family to tune in and to Tell the Truth, Ticia, where we sit with nothing but positive influences in the city of Cleveland. I call them change agents, and they're hidden gems that are doing something positive, entrepreneurs, if you would call them, that are inspiring, motivating, and encouraging future entrepreneurs. We are thrilled to introduce Ty Evans, the inspiring owner of Positive Vibes by Ty. Founded in 2021 during the challenging times of the pandemic, Positive Vibes by Ty was born out of the desire to provide inspiration, motivation, joy, and connection to families nationwide. The company's mission is to uplift, inspire, and empower individuals to maintain a positive mindset through purposeful products. Each item is thoroughly designed with creativity, vibrant colors, and inspirational sayings to promote positive thinking and a sense of well-being. Under Ty's passionate leadership, Positive Vibes by Ty has achieved significant milestones, including participation in impactful community events such as advocacy festivals, women conferences, and school support events. Additionally, the business is part of the Women's Business Center of Ohio's Corner Shop Collective, a collaborative retail space for local entrepreneurs. Positive Vibes by Ty is also proudly certified as a Women Business Entrepreneur, WBE, Minority Business Enterprise, MBE, and Equity, Diversity, Gender Equality, EDGE business, enabling greater connections with government and community organizations. Tell the Truth, Ticia family, please join me in welcoming this wonderful entrepreneur and pillar of the community, Miss Ty Evans.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So we met at the Women's of Distinction event, yes, and I stopped by your table because, first of all, the aesthetics were beautiful.
You.
And I'm a journal person. So if you guys know, I'm always talking about writing in your journals and writing your plans down. And so I added to my collection. Yeah. So let's talk about what was the initial start for you to create this business? What is it?
Sure. Actually, honestly, the business we started, as I mentioned, in 2021. I had always wanted to start a business, but sometimes you don't know exactly what that business is. Mm-hmm. So during the pandemic is really when my aha moment came. Okay. So I started working from home. My children started going to school from home, and it was very exciting for like the first 3 weeks, right? And then after I found that my daughter was going through types of depression and being isolated. And I would try to always, write little messages, whether it was like on sticky notes or stickers, and leave it for them. But then as I started talking to other families, everybody was going through something. It didn't matter what class, what kind of money you made or whatever. Everyone was being impacted by the pandemic. So during those times, I found it really important to have those conversations. Your kids had questions. We had questions. We didn't know what was going on. So I said, well, I'm sharing these gifts and things with my family. Maybe I'll share them beyond. So I started creating customized products that all had positive messages on it, really just as a way to uplift my family, sharing it with my friends. And I said, well, you know what, I always knew my purpose is somehow to serve others and help to see if I could see them happy or help them. That fulfills me. So I said, let's try to turn it into a business. So during 2021, I started preparing. The world, I should say, started to open up a bit more, and I started to get in the community, volunteer, attend events to kind of get the feedback to see really is this something viable. But the most fulfilling thing is everyone who stopped by, they shared a story, whether it was something big in their life or not. That's where that connection started. So that's where I started to prepare, and that's where the business really started. So it's been a little over 3 years now.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And we're still growing, but we're really rooted in uplifting messages, practicing positive thinking. I always tell people that it takes practice. You don't wake up every day feeling your best self, but what are the tools that you can use, like our journals, those products? I'm a believer that words can have power.
Absolutely.
You look at those things every day. So that is really, we want you to connect with your family and friends, check on people. You never know, what's going on in their lives, have those difficult conversations. I was raised that what goes on in the house stays
in the house, absolutely.
And I said,
I think that's a Black thing.
It is. I'm like, okay, don't be too nuts, but you have to share. You
Yeah.
never know how your story could impact someone else. So it's really connecting with people, sharing your stories, and then helping uplift them.
Yeah.
You never know how it can change their life. So
I like that you mentioned the fact that you started this because you noticed some depression with your daughter. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yes, and so and I use that term, I should say, lightly, because there's many facets. I think we all can go through states of depression. I just think for younger kids, if you go through some of the stats, the mental health impact, I mean, those numbers are growing in our younger kids, and they may not know how to vocalize it a lot, but I saw kind of the isolation. I saw, high school is a pivotal time, right, of learning yourself, learning how to communicate. And because we were isolated, she kind of withdrew more quickly and didn't know how to connect. So as a mom, as a parent, you're like, how can I help them through that? I mean, we realized, we went through the same thing as adults, so it was really the time to be together, have those conversations, really help them communicate. What are you feeling? What's going on? Write it down. You have to share. So that was the biggest thing. And understanding like therapy and what other tools. So journaling, again, is just one viable tool, right? Absolutely. You may have many others, but I think that time for self-reflection, you really have to kind of understand, right? So that's one way. And getting your thoughts. We kind of process. We have a lot going on each and every day, right? So sometimes I'm a tech person, but I love to write. I have to see it down, visualize, and then you're kind of reading it and reconsuming it. So this is just one way that we've, it's helped her kind of, kind of communicate her ways and thoughts without kind of maybe always having that vocal conversation.
So why did you pick positive words of affirmation to be your going theme?
Sure. So positive, and I use it with like optimistic words. So they're the words that are uplifting. You can think of things like negative, but I mean, scientific, there's facts that if you put negative things out there, potentially that's where your mind is going to lead. So I wanted to think about words that were uplifting, that were motivating, that were empowering. You kind of can't have a bad day when you see some of that, a phrase or someone tells you something that kind of pulls you up.
Right.
And it's whatever's special to each person or what, everyone's different. But I thought positive vibes. Every time I kept thinking, I said, that's it. Optimism, words of optimism.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to share.
So where do you draw your inspiration?
So one, people, I come up with quotes. Sometimes I see things and I may change them. Phrases that I grew up on. So some of them are just very simple. Like one of my favorites is be positive on purpose. Very simple. Yeah. But when you think about it, so you go into work one day and someone is not acting like you think, You have to be intentional. So
Yeah.
that's like, be intentional. How do
Yeah.
you want to be represented?
Right.
How do you want to come off? And that kind of shifts your mindset of saying, you know what, you're not worth it today.
Right.
I have to protect my space. So I'm going to choose of how I want to represent myself. So they could just be simple phrases. And they're similar to affirmations, but just a little bit different because they're just more motivational. Affirmation is kind of a little bit more firm, kind of those I am phrases, but we
Yeah.
do a combination of them as well.
So for your business, what do you offer?
Sure. So we offer a variety of products, and we try to offer very functional products, right? So we have our apparel, which I call our vibe wear, which are t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, things like that. Our journals, that's a big staple item because we really focus on self-reflection, setting your goals. So we have guided journals. We do our home because, again, it was from the pandemic time. So like your mouse pads, your notebooks, and things like that. And we do a lot of custom items as well. But we want our things to be very functional, so you can kind of grab and go. We have pillows and throws, so you want to vibe up your space around you. You want to wear it to help motivate yourself or someone else. So again, very functional items. We have them for adults, for kids. You can do customized gift boxes. We really focus on positive gifting is what I call it. Again, sharing that inspiration. I've had people share gifts, from people going through various illnesses to also celebrating wins like graduation and, finding new jobs.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, we want to be there to support you. We want to help you connect and uplift others. So very dysfunctional items, but each and everything has something either colorful and creative, but just a positive word or saying on it.
So why those particular items?
Again, we wanted it to not be too intimidating, things that people use in their everyday life. So sometimes, someone will be like, oh, that's just another t-shirt. Well, someone gave this t-shirt to me during my illness journey, and I wore that t-shirt every day to really help me stay uplifted. So it's really that connection.
Yeah.
But again, we want it to be something functional and something that you'll use. So
Yeah.
not something you'll go home, throw it in a corner. You'll see me probably 5 days out of the week have some vibe wear on, so again, because people are reading it when you walk around, and sometimes it's a conversation starter. Hey, what's where'd you get that from? Where can I get one? That's really cool. So again, we just want it to be functional and something that everyone will connect with.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
So my question to you is, and I know that you explained it, but here on Tell the Truth, Ticia, we need to find the why. And I think you explained the why a little bit, but if you could tell me, outside of your daughter, what was your why?
Sure. So when I first started, it was more internal and just uplifting. As I met with some organizations, mostly some of like the teen youth groups, I started digging in, and I won't share stats because I'm not a medical professional, but the mental health stats were alarming to me. So as I mentioned, my daughter's kind of that teen, just young adult age, and then I have actually preteen as well. But the stats are increasing when it comes to just mental health and awareness and the need for it. So that age from like 18 to 24 is pivotal, and where you're really trying to figure things out and you need support. So a big goal of Positive Vibes is, one, to be representation in the community. So we love to sell billions of products, but we want them to have a purpose, and we want to be in the community supporting the groups that need support. So we do partnerships with local organizations. Mainly we started with some of the young teen groups, so they would order like our journals, and then they go through different activities and sessions to really talk about things like, kind of body shaming, what does it mean to communicate, and things like that. So that's really, we're really a big support in that mental health space, because we know that's really where it starts, where you could be your best you, and that it impacts your overall wellness. So that is how it grew. We and I really didn't know it would grow to that way, but I'm like, this is that mental health space, and we want everyone to really try to be them best selves, or find the tools to do just that.
So as a certified life coach, one of the questions that I ask a lot of my clients is, a younger version of yourself, what did you see Ty Evans doing as an adult?
Um, so funny enough, I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I think now it does kind of sum me up. I enjoy helping people. If you are doing something and I'm like, oh, I got to help you. We can find a better way. Or I really connect with people and I really just want to find a way to help people. So I think just being a teacher, you somehow impact their lives, whether they're young or old, and you hope that something sticks with them. So still to this day, it's like if you could help everyone you came in contact with in some small way, or like, hey, Ty, help me realize, I wanted to do this, or shared and help motivate me. I think that is just very uplifting in itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't put a price on any of that. It's like if I help someone do better to help someone else, that is really what I would want to do. So I did not end up teaching, but I do some of that on the side as well. But again, this is a way for me to leverage my passion for people just in a different way. So I'm allowed to use my creativity to also connect with others.
Now, I would say that it is a form of teaching, because if you are with having these connections with different organizations and also in the community with younger women or young men as well, you're teaching them how to speak life over themselves, speak words of affirmation and positivity. So I think that you did step into your role. One way or the other, you did it. So congratulations to you for that. So what about the adults? Do you find, because I'm finding that a lot of adults are set in their ways and they're thinking. And so do you find it difficult sometimes to help them to see themselves differently when you share your products, or what are you finding?
What I do find is no matter, especially with the women demographic, and we are expanding more in the male space as well, but what I find, no matter what, all the rooms I've been in, whether it's young teens who are trying to figure things out, very established women, they all want to feel a sense of connection. They always are still thriving and still feel good, because when people think, well, when you make more money, everything, all the problems kind of go away. That's untrue. And they're still trying to find ways to keep it together, still have that, healthy mental capacity. So I found that because I'm one who, again, we met at the women's conference, but love being around like-minded women who are supportive. And I think that will just always be beneficial, right? You don't want to be around, I'll say, fake or phony people. You want to be in those supportive circles. So I found it even more true now, being in some of those groups and circles. And I've been fortunate to just find some amazing people. I don't know, Cleveland, or people like, oh, sometimes people can be cliquish. I really, and I don't know what it is, find the most amazing, supportive people that have been willing to share inspiration, share their journey. So that's what I thrive. But I think and then we share that with the youngsters coming up, right? So actually, it's been good responses. So I say overall.
I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of the times we have there can be negative reactions to people asking for help, and people are like, oh, I don't want to give you the information, or they're gatekeeping because they feel like if I share too much information, then you're going to take over and nobody's going to know who I am or what I'm doing. But I find that when you collectively work together and share, that's how you grow.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a lot of other communities who work tirelessly together to make sure that everybody is together, is thriving, is growing. But I see that, with our community, it's like the crab in the barrel mentality. So I'm glad that you were able to find your connected core of people that are just helping to pour into you and help you and help you to reach some of your goals. I recently went to a networking event, amazing event. And the reason why I say it was amazing is because there were people there who or willing to help you, to show you, to point you in the right direction, and to also help you to see your worth and your value with your business. So where do you see Positive Vibes growing within the next 5 years?
Ooh, yes, let me put that out there. So right now, we are still continuing to be in the community. So you'll see us at pop-up events, at local festivals. But over the next 5 years right now, what we're really trying to work with some of the universities. We really want to reach out more, as I mentioned, from that age 18 to 24. So we're working to kind of get on some of those college campuses, and provide products and services for the parents to keep their students engaged. And then we're also working with some other local partnerships. But the biggest thing is to be a name, hopefully nationwide, with some of the large organizations. And I focus on the schools again, because these are where the young adults are. So if you're a local organization, you want to partner, we do kind of the bulk ordering, but we also do activities if you want to collaborate for something that is aligned with that mental health, self-reflection. But over the next 5 years, I'm hoping that our partnership and opportunities continue to grow.
I hope so. And I want to be able to say, hey, I had her here first on my show. And she did that. So right now, is it just you, or do you have a collective?
So right now I am the main runner of things, but so I hire assistants as needed. So right now, actually during the summer, actually starting next week, the Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend, we'll actually have a kiosk area at Crocker Park.
Oh, wow.
So you may see me, but I did hire a couple others to help. So stop by, say hello, share some inspiration. We were recently at the Cleveland Akron Airport for a little stint. So those are the spaces we're in right now. But it is me and a couple folks for right now, but we'll continue to grow as our retail space and operations grow as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So we know that entrepreneurship can be challenging. So what are some of the challenges that you found that you've been faced with just with this business alone?
Sure. Yes, entrepreneurship can be challenging, but I think if you have a passion for what you're doing, it'll keep you going. So people are like, Ty, why are you up at night drinking coffee? Well, that is my creative space, and it's quiet. But I think getting started, some people get very intimidated thinking they need to have everything figured out, and you will learn. I say you'll learn as you grow, but you start, you learn, because your days are numbered, right? So you want to, if it's something you have a passion for, start and leverage the resources. Cleveland actually has a lot of resources that I didn't know. Women's Business Center, Jump, there's a lot of resources, free resources. So I think getting started, once I got started, making sure to have a strategy and plan is the biggest thing. But I think some of the challenges just has been, funding is always a challenge, right? So you're continuing to think, how can I grow with the funding? But again, I think if you get your strategy together, leverage the resources, that's how I've been actually able to grow a little bit faster. But I think those are probably the biggest challenges, in making sure you're staying true to your purpose and just understanding, because as I said, it can change and shift as you start to grow, but continue with it.
Absolutely. One of the things that I picked up on at the networking marketing event was you put all of your passion into your business plan, and then you take your business plan to local companies or people that you can partner with so they can foot the bill for that. And they talked about not putting up your own resources and putting that aside because you believe in your product. Make sure you connect with somebody that can help you with a viable business plan where you can show your projections and what's the company's already made without having a partner. So
That's a great piece of advice. Yes. Look,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm going to take that one, but that is very true.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Take that
very true.
and use that, because a lot of businesses, what they were saying is they typically fail because they're trying to fund it on their own. But if you can paint the picture for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in you because you believe in you and you believe in your product. But when a person is kind of sketchy and they're iffy about the product, it makes it a little bit difficult, because if you aren't sure, then how can you get somebody else to come on board and be sure with you?
Absolutely. I like that advice. That's very true.
So for those of you who are aspiring entrepreneurs, make sure that you, number one, do your research, know about the product that you want to put out. And another thing is ASQ, answer simple questions, right? Or ask simple questions like, what do they want? What do they look for? So those are some of the things that can help too,
Yep.
And I think that that's a necessity and a need that you've already tapped into.
Absolutely.
Because people want encouragement.
They do. Yep. And how do they want it? And like you said, do surveys, focus groups, because everything you thought was cool, you have to be able to modify it a bit and adjust and tailor to your audience. So you're right. Those are great suggestions.
Oh, absolutely. So what are some inspirational things you do to keep yourself lifted?
Sure. So I do self-reflect. You'll see sticky notes all around me, but like I will pick either a positive message or saying that I'll post up for the week or the month or things like that. Like I started when I did my yearly planning, I had a theme. It was called Limitless. That time I actually got it tattooed on me. So it was just, something to remind myself that you can go as far as you're willing to go. Nothing should limit you. And that will help drive you, right? Like, I'm not going to take no for an answer.
Right.
Like you said, do your research. I know the answer is out there. I know someone's willing to share something and help me, but I will help myself to get there. So that's the biggest thing. I am a very solution-oriented person, so I will sit for a while to kind of reflect and understand my feelings, but I'm more immediate to say, okay, how can I get out of this? Because if my energy's off, it's hard to move throughout the day, or if I need time to kind of relax and rebalance, I do that. So I try to always kind of regauge, what's going on, because again, you can keep moving every day, but you still want to feel good and not overexhaust exhaust yourself. But I think those are biggest things. I leverage my own positive sayings. I wear my vibe gear probably everywhere. But again, I always still try to connect with others and hear their stories. I think that keeps me more uplifted than anything, and sometimes people may not purchase anything that day or whatever. That's not the biggest thing. It's kind of hearing their stories and connecting.
And interacting with them, because they might come back later.
They could,
and say, hey, something you said helped me or touched me, and now you gained a follower and somebody who's like a huge supporter.
Absolutely.
So I know you said that you weren't big on social media. This was off-air conversation, guys. So who manages your social media?
Oh, Ty part 2. Ty does that. We do need we're growing in that space, right? Because I know social media is huge of how you connect. But again, there's only so much time in the day. So that is one area we're really looking to expand over the next year, because we want to keep that engagement and start more of that conversation. So yeah, if there are any experts out there that would be interested, I'm interested. So you'll see that grow a bit, because we want to keep that dialogue or start more dialogue going as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you could leave anybody with anything, a positive quote, so let's say for a younger version of yourself, what would that be?
Let's see. I'll probably stick with kind of my limitless, phrase. It's really, you can take yourself as far as you want to go. The road, this is the ... The road may be challenging, but just take some time, breathe, reset and rebalance, and go after it the next day. You always have tomorrow to kind of do a fresh start. And that has guided me. So hopefully that can help guide someone else.
Cool. So can you leave everybody with your social media handle so they can follow you?
Absolutely. So my website is positivevibesbyty.com, and you can reach us on Facebook and Instagram at Positive Vibes by Ty on both.
Cool beans. Thank you so much for sitting down and take the time
thanks for having
to
me.
chat with me today. I really look forward to, using my journal and journaling.
Thank you.
And then hopefully whatever other pop-up events that you have, maybe we can do some,
Absolutely.
connecting.
Reach out anytime. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey guys, so listen. You heard it here first on Tell the Truth, Ticia. Do not forget, you are the most important person in your life. There is no one more important than you are in this actual moment. Ty, I want to thank you again for sitting down with us. I always tell everybody, don't forget to smile. So can you smile for the camera?
Oh, yes, you forget that. You're thinking.
Yeah, just smile. Smiling, I say, is always infectious and contagious, and you never know how it can help somebody out and get through their day. And then don't harp on the things that you did not get the opportunity to do yesterday, because yesterday is over with and gone. It's not coming back. Today has presented itself a brand new day. So if you're seeing this video, which we thank God for you, get up, get at it, and get active, because nobody is going to stop you from doing what you need to do but you. So get on up out your own way, all right? All right, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Tell the Truth, Ticia. Do not forget to smash the like button at the bottom of the phone. I'm like, camera. I'm looking at the camera. Smash it on the bottom of your computer, your mobile device, and subscribe. And tell your friends to tell your friends to tune in to Tell the Truth, Ticia. All right, guys. Bye.